Cora SEO is one of the most powerful SEO tools on the market, with many calling it their secret weapon for SEO. But what is it and how powerful is it really? Well, this amazing tool is developed by Ted Kabitis. I'm grateful enough to actually have known Ted Kabitis and learned quite a bit from him as a student. And so Ted, what he's done is really created a measuring stick. That's what him and his colleagues call it. It looks at every ranking factor, or at least the, I think, 130,000 ranking factors that Ted and his elite group of SEOs have pinpointed, and it measures it for a single keyword and a single page that you put into it. And it gives you the percentages of how many H1s, H2s, H3s, whatever your competitors are doing, particularly from an on-page perspective. Cora SEO will allow you to reveal that and see it and spy on your competitors on-page and even off-page SEO. So a lot to uncover here. So this is an awesome tool. It's very good, but I will say it can be advanced. And so if you're not an advanced SEO, better leave now, because this is not easy. But if you're sticking around, this is probably one of the best intros to Cora, where you can start to figure out what it all means and learn it to grow your traffic. So without further ado, thank you for watching. Let's jump into Cora.
So jump onto the Cora SEO website called SEOtoollab.com. Cora is notorious for not having the best UI for some of this stuff. So you're going to have to just work with what Ted gives you. It's not cheap. It's $250 per month, but we can get you a discount. So just reach out in the comments if you're looking for a discount. There are ones available from various influencers, etc. So this is the software. You're going to have to download the software, buy it, do your thing, and then we'll go on to how to use it. So when you open up Cora, you're gonna get a screen like this. And you might instantly be a little overwhelmed, but it's not bad, I swear. So we're gonna initially go into settings, and you're gonna have to set up your serial key. So you'll get this via email, you'll jump it, paste it in there, and you'll get started. You'll also need to choose a folder for where you're gonna download your Cora reports, and double check that all of these in the reports tab here in settings, that you have the right one selected. Make sure that you have LSI keywords, the LSI report there, that it says top 10 results, that you have the variation reports. None of these should really be turned off. And I know that sometimes, none of the ones that I have, I know that sometimes it starts without your entities report. You definitely need your entities report. So click on that, click save, go back to settings. You can also do various other fun things. So you can have your domains in here. You can integrate it with Ahrefs, Semrush, all kinds of fun stuff you can play around with here, but that's all we need. So we got that in, and now we're gonna go to a keyword. So a friend of mine told me to check out Take My Online Class. A little bit of a weird keyword, but we're going to use it because he wanted me to analyze it. We're going to put our keyword in here. This is the keyword we want to be number 1 for, and we're going to search it. And there we go. Now it has went through 10 searches of our keyword. We can set the number of searches here as 10. Make sure you set it as 10. Can start as some other stuff. If it's a local keyword, we want to add in our location. This is not a local keyword. It's a national keyword. So if you're looking for DUI lawyer, Atlanta, then that's going to be Atlanta, Georgia there. Now it's going to give us keyword variants, and it's also going to show us the list of ranking pages here. So we're going to have the ranking pages here as well as their rank in their URL. Now here, this point is important. So we want to choose the competitors we want to analyze with. So we don't want to analyze Reddit. We want to analyze similar competitors to our website. And you can change this deficit strategy to either maximum or 1.5 STD or average. So you have a lot of options here. Maximum or 1.5 standard deviation is typically recommended. And I will usually, if I'm not in the top 10, I'll usually get a lot of those top 10 ones. I'll track whoever my website is. So if we click here, that's going to be my website. And then we can also force our URL here if we're not in the top 100. And then we can simply go up here and click Get Data. And then you'll have your Cora report. This is the report it gives you, how to interpret this data, how to use it to grow your search traffic. So we'll run through this Cora report and see what all of this means. I know we have a lot here. It's a lot to deal with. We have our URL and we have our variations of the keywords. These variations are important. So to begin with, what is a variation? So if we open up our sheet here, take my online class, I believe was our keyword. Now variations are all these things that are bolded text on the search result. So take my online class, take, online class. These bolded texts are Google telling us that these keywords are important keywords for this query, and Cora takes those and exports it. Cora searches this keyword many times and exports all of the bolded text. That's where we get these keyword variations, which you'll hear in the future throughout this report. So now if we go down, what we're going to be looking at today is the roadmap and the basic tunings. Now, I know this looks super complicated and there's all these colors and this different stuff. Just ignore this for now. Go simply to the basic tunings and we can see our main keyword and our variations, and then we can see some basic tunings. So right off the bat, this feels a little bit more like a normal, surfer report or something like that, like an SEO report you can kind of understand. And we can see the word count. So here we see word count and we see our word count for our website, our page, and the goal word count. So it's recommending adding 2,400 more words. Now we can actually investigate that more, but it's essentially taking all of the competitors we added, and it's taking those keywords and using that. But we can actually dig into this deep. It's recommending 2,400 words. A couple other things here. I'm going to scroll down. Title tag. This is page title stuff. We have a good score. It's recommending more title length. You take these recommendations as just that, a recommendation. Now, the next place I would look at is headings and look at number of headings. So here it's recommending 5.6 more H2s. Always ignore the H1. You want one H1. And it recommends, more H3s, more H4s, and a couple H5 and H6. Now, right off the bat, as an SEO, you're going to think, hey, I don't need two H1s, and you're correct. This is because Cora is a measurement tool. It is not a quick fix that's going to tell you exactly to do. It's an analysis tool. So it's simply telling us, hey, this is what competitors are doing. This is the standard deviation 1.5, or the average sort of what competitors are doing. And we can see where it gets these numbers within the overview tab. So those are really the places I look first. I make sure that we have the number of heading tags and then the variations in heading tags. So these variations are very important for ranking. And here we can see add 7 more variations in H2s. These are these keyword variations. So whenever it says variations or keyword variations, it's talking about this section here. So already we can optimize those. We can optimize our heading tags and we can optimize our word count. This is a simple optimization that would work pretty effectively for Cora. That would be a basic optimization. We can look where it's getting those data from, so just wait, we'll look at that. For the roadmap, this is where we get a little bit more in detail with entities, variations, and various stuff. To first start with this tutorial, we're going to look at what these colors mean, and it actually says it here, which green is a strong factor for just about all keywords. This means all the keywords in the Cora database that of people searching these keywords. And so these ones mean that, hey, these are always going to be something you want to add. Very rarely do you not want to add these. Entities and H3 tags, add 5 more. The red is a strong factor for most keywords on Google, but it's not a strong factor for this keyword. So the competitors that are ranking high are not using this optimization. That can mean maybe you shouldn't use it, but it can also mean, hey, this might be a missed opportunity that's going to scale your traffic beyond what they're doing. It's going to scale your rankings beyond what they're doing. But we really usually start with not looking at these red ones. We might do that after we optimize everything else and see what happens. But we can even hide these. Go through and hide these red ones. So already that feels a lot nicer, a lot easier to manage in terms of an on-page optimization report. So first, these titles and headings are going to be your easiest wins. This is what you want to focus on next. After you just make sure you have the basic tunings of the correct amount of headings, correct word count, that kind of thing. Number of questions in H3s, I would add it. As entities in H3s, I would add it. LSI keywords in H3s, 62 more. This is something you certainly could add because you can create this in hidden text. You can have all kinds of creative ways to add this into your page, but it is something that you would want to consider because, like I said, these are recommendations. They're not always correct. So you might want to look into why it's recommending this, and that's going to be the next stage which we look into. But use your common sense and just do the ones that make the most sense. Try to do a lot of them though. So it looks like your page is pretty optimized. Number of H2 tags, as we saw, add more of those. Variations in H3s, add more of those. Entities in H3s, add more of those. Those are some simple stuff you can do. LSI words in H2s, add more of those. H1s, ignore that. So you're going to have to use your common sense using Cora, your common SEO sense. Now, you can also mark these off like that. Sometimes nice. So say you added the H2 tags to your page, you can say done. And that's a way to keep track of this roadmap for Cora, how you can start to manage all of this report. I know it can be a lot here. So here we have the content section. This is a little bit more difficult to add. It's going to be word count stuff. It's going to be entities, all of that fun stuff. Now, it's a lot of times we'll say like 1,500 LSI keywords. Well, you can do that, especially if it's a competitive term. You don't necessarily need to. Just do whatever is in reason. Add 50 more, add 100 more. Just kind of make your judgments from this. It is going to do authority stuff. Here, it must have tricked up some, I think, from a competitor because it's saying a lot here, but it will tell you number of backlinks and then diversity, which we'll get into later. Really, the first step is to think about this titles and headings and a little bit of this content stuff. But mainly, you want to just optimize the headings and the titles first. So once we have that, if we go back to our basic tunings, we see this word count here. And we saw these H2s, as well as an H1 that tells us to use 2 H1s. Should we use 2 H1s? The answer is no. Now, how do we know that? Well, from SEO knowledge in general, but if we go over here to the overview tab, we can use this to figure out why it's recommending this stuff. So we can take these rows here and we can hide them. And then it will give us all of the factors that Cora is analyzing for the competitors. And we can look at how many the competitor used versus us. So if we want to find the number of H2s, we search for number of H2 in this list, and we have number of H2 tags here. Now it does give the correlation of how highly this correlated with the ranking. So this is a little bit lower down. Sometimes these tags are higher up. And so the H2 tags are very important in that rankings, in that SERP. Here we can say the shared page 1 average. The average is 6 H2s. The highest is 24. And then we can see result 1, result 2, result 3, result 4, and so on. We can see all the results, and then we can see our page. Now, Cora didn't see our page on the 100 for that search it did. So we manually added it in here. And we see that we have 13 H2s. And then we go up to the number 1. Number 1 has 14. Number 2 has 11. Number 3 has 6. So we're really not so far off. We're at 13. So we're pretty much similar to what these top pages are doing. And so we don't necessarily need more H2s, but it's something to try. The reason it is giving us that result is as a goal is because the top 10 pages, all these pages we're analyzing, the average is about the number it recommends, which I think is 18. 18.57. And now, since we're not on the top 10 rankings, we are comparing to the top 10 rankings in Cora. Here, these are the pages I told it to compare to. And so this would be pretty good to start with some more H2s and play around with that. And that's how you start off with Cora. You can look through these and you can see a million factors for technically how you compare with the other pages ranking on Google. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them. How Cora works is that you do this in stages. So you're going to be analyzing this report. You're going to implement those analysis. You're going to implement that analysis, and then you're going to rank track and see how the ranking improves or even decreases. And then you're going to run a report again and see how that report changes. So if you improve different stuff, the roadmap should be simpler. And then you can start adding in those red ones and start doing more stuff, all kinds of fun stuff. So another thing I would check for this is number of backlinks and do follow backlinks. See if one of those competitors is just increasing that a ton. That can happen a lot. Maybe the first three, are just kind of similar to you, but you definitely want to match your competitors on those referring domains, as well as word count and different things of that nature. So I hope this helped. Let me know if it did. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.